Hi everyone, this is a new YouTube channel called the Lions Leadoff. In this channel, I evaluate the Detroit Lions and talk about their keys to the game every single week before their Sunday game performance. So if you're a Lions fan and you watch this YouTube channel every week, you will be updated on everything you need to know about where your team is standing in their division and across the whole NFL. Thank you. Now, let's get right into the first episode of the Lions Leadoff. Hi everyone, this is the Lions Leadoff. You can call me Stache. Every week I'll be filling you in the top 3 things the Lions need to do to be successful in their Sunday game performances. This first episode is an extra special episode, because I'll be going over the top 3 things the Lions need to do to get to the playoffs this year. There won't be special episodes every week, but you can expect one before week 9, which is midway through the season, and if the Detroit Lions advance to the playoffs, right before the playoffs begin. Now, without further ado, let's get into the first episode of the Lions League. Number 1. The first thing that the Detroit Lions need to do this season to be successful is they need their defensive line to step it up. In the offseason, they added defensive tackle Mike Daniels and defensive end Trey Flowers. They really need their defense to be solid this year, and for the first time in years, get a ton of pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Now, let's look at the potential starting defensive line for the Lions this season. Here's a look at the Lions' potential starting defensive line. At the left end position, there's Trey Flowers, who I already mentioned a second ago. And at the first defensive tackle spot, there's Damon Snacks Harrison. Everyone already knows what a huge impact he makes for the whole defensive front. And the second defensive tackle will be A'Shawn Robinson. He's been solid throughout his career and could potentially turn into a star with this new defensive line. And last, at the second defensive lineman spot, is Romeo Okwara. Overall, the Lions' defensive front is looking way better this year, and they'll be able to get loads more pressure on opposing quarterbacks. This season, they'll be able to stop the run effectively, and they can get a ton of pressure and sack the quarterback way more times than they have been in the past. Now, the Lions will need to rank top 12 in sacks this season if they'd like to make the playoffs. And every single game, every play, they'll need to get some type of pressure on the quarterback to be a good pass rush defense. Number 2. This season, to get to the playoffs, the Lions need to take the pressure off Matthew Stafford and run the ball effectively. Matthew Stafford has had to pass the ball a lot in recent years. He has had to pass it 50 to 70 times every game, and as a result, his passer rating has gone down. And if the Lions would like to win in the playoffs, or get to the playoffs even, they need to be able to be less predictable, and defenses shouldn't know if they're going to pass it or run it every play. They need to have more in their playbook. Finally, the Lions are putting pieces together to develop a powerful running game. 4 of their 5 starting O-linemen will be the same from last year, which means the Lions are starting to build chemistry up front on offense. And with second-year running back Kerryon Johnson back and healthy, and newly acquired C.J. Anderson, the Lions have talent in the backfield. Don't forget, Zach Zenner will also be helping out. The Lions will have the best running game they've had in years this season. The Lions' running game better be good this year, or I don't think they'll be a playoff team. And if they do run the ball effectively, it only helps Stafford have a higher passer rating and completion percentage. Number 3. Now this is the difference maker. This year, the Lions must give it their all and max out all their play time for all 60 minutes of the whole game. For the past few years, the Lions have been known as the fourth quarter kings. This is good in the sense that they're winning games, but they shouldn't have to just rely on their comeback skills and their 2-minute drill effectiveness just to win games. They should be able to nicely take control of the game in the first quarter and keep their lead. As a Lions fan, I personally like sitting back and relaxing for the whole game and not having to be all tense and on the edge of my seat. If the Lions can do this effectively, they can take pressure off of their whole team, coaches, staff, and players. This would help them so much so they don't have to scramble at the end of each half to try to make something happen, to get back in the game. All right, everyone, time to put a wrap on this week's episode of the Lions Leadoff. Make sure to tune in every week on YouTube to the Lions Leadoff for your 3 keys to the game for the Lions' upcoming Sunday game performance. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment down below on what you think I should incorporate into future videos. Thanks so much for watching. This is Stache signing off.